welcome back to the 2018 Granny Square Crochet Along. Today we are making this heart corner to corner square, C2C. Not strictly a granny square, but a really lovely pattern to make. So let's have a look at what we need today. So you will need two different colours of yarn, and in one of the colours that you want for your background, if I bring this in, so the colour of your background, you will need either two separate balls or pull one from the outside, one from the inside and one from the outside, or make a separate small ball of that yarn. So I'm going to use a small ball of that, plus this ball and this one, and then I've got my hook, and of course I've got my cup of tea. Let's get started on this heart square. Okay, now when we're working this C2C, it's called corner to corner because we work from this bottom right corner up to the top left, and we work we go up and down and we do diagonal rows, so it's corner to corner. So the first thing we're going to do is this, we're going to call each of these, if I pull it apart slightly, you can see we've got these sort of square blocks. So we're going to call each of these a block. Okay, so these are blocks. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of the background colour. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and each row is the number, the amount of blocks of the number of row until we get to halfway. So 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks, 5 blocks, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we start to decrease. Okay, which I will take you through. I will take you through every colour change that we need to do, so don't worry about that. Okay, so let's pop that aside. And you need to do your slip knot, and then we will start. Now when we're doing our increase rounds, so when we're or rows, when we're starting to work up this side, we need to do chain 6. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then into the 4th chain from our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4th chain from our hook, we are going to do a double crochet. Oops, do a double crochet into there, and then you're going to do a double crochet into the next chain and a double crochet into the 3rd chain. So you'll have your chain 3, and then you will have your 3 double crochets. So 4 stitches and chains altogether. So that is your first row done. That's block 1 for your first row. Now the next row has 2 blocks, so we're still increasing. So we still need to do 6 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 chains, and then we do exactly as we just did. We're going to do a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the next 2 chains. Don't forget, if this is going too fast for you, either up in the top right or just below, there's a place where you can slow the video down, and don't forget as well, you can pause the video and you can rewind too if you need to do that to catch up. Now let's try to get some more yarn out of here. I'm going to get some tangle in a moment. Okay, so you've now got 2 blocks here, and we need to attach them, bring them together. So what we're going to do is this block from our first round, this one here, we're going to flip it up And in this chain 3 space just here, you see this chain 3 space just there. What you're going to do is do a slip stitch. So insert your hook into that space, do a yarn over and do a slip stitch. Okay, so that's joined those 2 blocks together. Okay, you see those 2 blocks joined together. And now when we do a block in the row, so this is our first block of row 2, so we're going to do a chain 3 this time, because we don't need to come up and around the corner. I chain 3, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets over this chain. So into this chain space here, we are doing 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's 2 and 3, and there, if I turn this over, you can see this now is our first row, and they alternate on being sort of right side and wrong side. So generally corner to corner patterns are reversible. So you've got your row 1 with 1 block, and then you've got row 2 with 2 blocks, and then we're going to start row 3 in just a second. Okay, I've sorted my yarn out. That was going to be a big tangled mess. So now we are on to row 3. So we need to do 3 blocks in this colour. So we're going to chain 6 because we're increasing again. So 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just as before, do a double crochet into your 4th chain from the hook, and then 2 more double crochets in the next 2. So 1 and 2. And that is how simple these blocks are to make. Really nice and simple and quick. So then, as before, flip up this work and into this chain space here. If you can see this space here, you're going to do that slip stitch into there, and that just joins those blocks together. And then you're going to do a chain 3 because it's an inner block, and then 3 double crochets into this chain space here. Okay, so it's 1, 2 and 3, and then you're going to slip stitch into this chain space of this block next to it, and another chain 3 and another 3 double crochet into this new chain space. And that's how simple this is. I love C2C. It grows nice and quickly. It's relatively simple. Okay, so that's our row 3 done. And now we're going to go on to row 4. So we need to do 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double crochet into the 4th chain. And then you're going to work along just as you have on the previous ones. So I'll just get you started. So that's 3 double crochets, flip up, slip stitch, and then I'm going to leave you to do 3 more blocks, and then I'll join you at the end of this row. Okay, so that was our 4th row, and we've got 1 more row to do before our first colour change. So we're going to start row 5 with a chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, double crochet into the 4th chain, and then continue doing your 3 double crochets and slip stitch into the next block, chain 3, 3 double crochets, and continue that so that you've got 5 blocks joined together on this row. So we're just going to slip stitch that into there, and then you're going to continue that row, and I'll meet you back at the end of that row. Okay, so that's our row 5 completed. Row 6 is where it gets interesting. So row 6 is this row here, and as you can see, this is where we start to do the colour of our heart. So we're starting from the bottom here, and we're going to need one of our pink, in my case pink, which I've already done. Now if you need to, you can pause the video and do your chain 6 and 3 double crochet, just as we have done on previous rows. So pause the video, do your chain 6 and 3 double crochets and slip stitch to join to the previous block. Okay, and now this is where we bring in our new colour, and we do 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks of red. So get rid of that and bring in my red. Now we want to work on the back, so let's get this the right way around. So I've done my slip stitch with my pink, my background colour, and then what you're going to do is bring in the tail and put to the back of your work, which actually is the front you're working on at the moment, and then you are going to pull that through that pink loop. You can see that's quite a big pink loop there, but what we're going to do is then pull that pink loop down nice and tightly. So you see that pink loop has virtually disappeared there, virtually disappeared. Okay, and then just pull this red loop a bit smaller to work with, and then we're going to be working over this strand of red tail excuse me, just to secure that in. So do your chain 3 as you usually would, and then do your 3 double crochets over this strand and that chain space, just so that we start to secure that strand in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I've done too many. I've done one too many. So there we go. There's your chain and your 3 double crochets, and then just as before, you're going to work as you have done and do a slip stitch into this next block. So oops, slip stitch into this next block, and then I'm going to continue working over the tail. So 3 chains and 3 double crochets. 2, 3 double crochets, and then you are going to do 2 more red blocks along here, and I will meet you back after 2 red blocks. Okay, so we've now got our 4 red blocks along here, and now we need to do 1 more pink. Now we can't bring this strand up here because it's just too far, and there would be too much to cover and work in. So we bring in, this is when we bring in our second ball of background colour, and as before we're going to put the tail here to the back, and then we're going to pull that through that red loop there, so just as we did before on the when we changed to red, and then we're going to pull this red loop down nice and tightly, so that just sits close to the work here. So just pull that down tightly, and then we're going to work 1 block with this pink. So that's chain 3, and then we're going to work over this pink tail and do 3 double crochets. And there we go. Just pull that red strand down a bit tighter. There we go. And then that just puts that there. Okay, and now we're going to do on the next row, let's bring it in, we're working from the top this time. If we flip this over, we're working from the top down to the bottom. You'll have lots of strands going on, but don't be worrying about them, they'll all work themselves out in the end. So the next row is row 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, row 7. So we are going to do row 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is 1 pink, 1, 2, 3, 4 red and 2 pink, so 1 pink. So we're going to work with this same pink here, and we're going to do our chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to work your pink block, and I'll meet you back to change back to the red. Okay, so I've done my pink block, and now we need to bring the red back to do 4 red blocks. So we're going to use this red that we've been using previously, and all we need to do is bring this strand over this block here. So we're going to bring that over and then pull a loop through there, pull this pink tight just as we have done before, and then so this is pulled tight, and then we're going to just do our work over this chain space here. So do your chain 3 as you usually would, and then we're going to work over this strand, just hide that in there. Okay, so there's our block, and then we slip stitch into the next one, and you're going to do 3 more red blocks along, and I'll meet you down the other end. And there's our 4 blocks of red. So now we just have to do 2 blocks of pink on this row. So that would be this pink that we've got going on here. So we are going to, like we did with the red, we're going to bring it over there. Okay, so just hold on to that, pull that through that red loop, make sure it's fairly tight, and then get your red and pull that down nice and tightly so it's there almost on top of your work, and then do your chain 3 as you normally would, and then work those double crochets over this strand. As simple as that. Colour changes are nice and easy on this. We've only got the 2 colours going on and just the 3 working ends, so it's nice and easy. So do 1 more block of this background colour, and I'll see you after that. Okay, so I've got my 2 blocks of pink done there, and I'm ready to work back up the row for row 8, which is this one I've got my finger on here. So as you can see, we've got 2 pink blocks, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red. So 2 pink and 5 red. So let's get that out of the way. 2 pink. So you're going to do your chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Work back along doing your 3 double crochets, slip stitch into the block, do another one with a chain 3, 3 double crochets, and I will meet you back for a colour change. 2 pink blocks. Okay, so I've done my 2 pink blocks here, and then as before I brought my red strand over and into my pink loop, and we're just going to pull that pink loop down nice and tightly, and then we're going to do 5 blocks of red. So you know how to do these blocks by now, so work your way back. Don't worry about all these strands, they'll all sort themselves out in the end. So work your way back with 5 red blocks, and I'll meet you down at the bottom. Okay, so I've done my 5 red blocks, and now it's time to go back to doing 1 pink block. Now the pink strand closest is this one here, but as you can see it's at the bottom, so we need to bring this up to the top this time. Now you might be thinking, oh no, but we've got this strand here. If you bring it up tight enough, but obviously not too tight, then it's going to distort your work. It will just kind of disappear into the back there. Double check down here with this very corner block, one from your first row, and see if it's the back or the front. Now this is the back, and that's the side you want to keep all your strands and your tails all on the back. So this is the back of your work, and if you can see there, it's the front of your stitches. So on the back you want all your strands and your tails, and believe me, this will just disappear in amongst the work, or almost disappear. Okay, so just pull that strand in there like that and pull that red one tight, just as we have done before, and then do your block. So I have done my last block on row 8, and now we're on to row 9, and I have done my first block here. So I'm just going to flip my work up and do my slip stitch in here to join it. And now you need to do 1 more. So you need 2 pink blocks for this this row 9, you need 2 pink blocks. Okay, pause the video and do your 2 pink blocks. Okie dokie, I have my 2 pink blocks here, and now we're going to be doing 4 red blocks, and for that we do 4 or 5. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4 red blocks. Okay, so this time we've got our strand here like we had our pink strand, but if you look down here, we are now working on the right side. So before we join in our pink, you're going to put this red strand to the back, okay, so that when we bring that up, it will be on the back the same as our pink. Okay, so pop that red to the back and slip stitch your pink into here, and then you're going to drop that one down and bring your red strand up through that pink fairly tightly. Pull that pink down nice and tight, and there you go, you are ready to start your red. So you're going to do 4 red blocks along here, and I will meet you back up the top. Okay, so there's our 4 red blocks. Now we're going to do 3 blocks of pink. So as we've done before, we're going to bring this strand over. Now we don't need to worry about whether it's the right side or the wrong side, because it's just coming out. It is coming over. It's just coming over here, and we're going to work over the top of it like we have on previous blocks. So just pull that down tight, and then do your chain 3 and your 3 double crochets as you have been doing all the way along. Do your 3 blocks, and I'll meet you back down at the end. And there you have it, the end of round 9, or row 9. You can see your heart shape starting to form. So the next one is round 10, and that's when we're going to start decreasing to start forming our square. Okie dokie folks, so we have done row 9. As I said, we're now going to be decreasing because we've done half of our square. So if we kept going, we'd end up a lot bigger. We're doing a square, so now we need to do the top and the side. So we no longer need to do chain 6 at the beginning. Chain 6 is just to increase as we go along. So the way we're going to do this, first of all, we need to just check row 10, we are doing 2 pink. Okay, we're working back up, so we're going to do 2 pink. So that's going to be with this strand here. And then what we're going to do, because we don't need to increase, what we're going to do is turn your work, and then you're going to, in these 3 double crochets and your chain space, you're going to do a slip stitch. That's just going into that stitch, pulling through, and then pulling through that loop. So that's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. So 3 slip stitches there, and 1 in your chain space, and that just brings you over from this this edge here over into this chain space to continue working. So you're going to do 2 blocks. So that's just as you usually would with your chain 3. And that's how we do our decrease. So you want to do 2 pink blocks, and I'll join you for a colour change. Okay, so I've done my 2 blocks of pink, and now we're going to do 5 red. So we're going to bring this strand of red across just as we have before, over there, simple, and then pull this pink down nice and tight, and that's it. So, and then you're just going to continue as you have before, and you're going to do 5 blocks of red, and I'll meet you for the next colour change. So 5 blocks of red. Okay, 5 blocks of red completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do 1 block of pink. Now because this is the back, I've checked this corner one, I'm on the back, got my tails, so this strand is going to be carried up the back here. So just bring that up, slip it through the red, make it fairly tight, pull that red one tight, and continue doing your block. So we'll do this one together as we've only got one to do, and then I will show you how to do your next what we call decrease, how you finish or how you start for the next row. Okay, so do your slip stitch there, small yarn. Okay. Okay guys, I apologise for that. That was a parcel delivery at the door there, and what better than a yarn parcel. I have a box of some nice lovely yarn. Woo, yum. So let's continue with our heart, shall we? And I'll look at the yarn parcel later. Okay, so we are on row 11 now. And we have 1 pink to do, so we need to slip stitch our way back across here. So you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to do a slip stitch in each double crochet on this block, each double crochet, if I can get that one through. So slip stitch in each double crochet and in that chain space, and that brings you over to this chain space to do your block. So do 1 pink block, and then we'll do the colour change together again. Okay, I have my pink block, but now because we're working on the right side, I need to pop this red strand behind before I do my slip stitch of the pink. So just pop that red strand behind, and then do your slip stitch in your pink, and then bring your red up and through that pink and pull that pink down nice and tight, just as we have previously. And now you're going to do, let me check, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 red. So do 4 red blocks, and I will meet you down at the other end. So 4 blocks of red complete, and now we're back to pink, and we're going to pull that pink across to that loop, pull that red down nice and tightly, and you're going to do 2 blocks of pink, 2 blocks of pink, and I'll meet you back at the top. Okay, I've done my pink blocks, and now I'm just going to remind you how you get started on the next row. So flip your work, and then you're going to slip stitch across these double crochets. So slip stitch across there, and into the chain space. Oops. Do those 4 slip stitches, and then you are going to do 1 block of pink. So 1 block of pink, and then we'll change back to the red. Okay, so we've got our 3 red now, and now we need to do 2 pink. But if you look, we've got our pink up here. We need to bring it down to here. So what you're going to do is just kind of measure roughly across there, and you're going to pull this through. So like we have done before, pull it through, and then you're just going to make sure that you've got enough to work over so it won't scrunch in, but it will loosen up a little bit. And then pull that red down like we have done before. And then, so this is what we've got going on. We've got this white or pink strand going across there. And what you're going to do is work just as you have before, over this strand. So just make sure that red's down nice and tight. So do your 3 chains as you have previously. Work over this strand of pink. 2, 3. So working over that strand, and then go under that strand with your hook through there, and then bring that through to do your slip stitch rather, and then you'll have that strand there, and you will work over that just as you have previously. And that's how you carry that strand of yarn over more than one block, and it works out quite easily. So there we go, slip stitch that into there. My yarn's creeping up on me. You do find that when you're doing these C2C graphs that you do tend to have lots of yarn all over the place. Some of you might like to organise it, keep it nice and organised, but I sort it all out at the end usually. Okay, and then what you're going to do is, as before, turn your work and slip stitch your way back across. So slip stitch back across and into where you need to start from, and then you are going to do, where are we? Let's have a look what we've got going on. Here we go. This is what we've got going on so far. This bit here, you can just pull that pink over there, hide that red, hide that join there, just bring that over. There we go, just fluff that over. So what have we got going on now? We are going to do 1 pink. So do your 1 pink block, and I'll see you for the red change. And here we go, we're going to change to red, and we are going to do 3 blocks. So as before, we're going to bring this red strand across, and oh dear, my fingers do not want to do what they're meant to do today. So bring that red strand across there as we have done before, pull that pink one down, and do your 3 blocks of red, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so 3 blocks of red, and then I've just brought my pink across this red block there, and we're going to do 1 more block of pink. So you're going to do 1 more block of pink, and then you're going to slip stitch back across and do 1 more block of pink. So 1 on this row, turn your work, slip stitch back, and do 1 block on the start of the next row, and I'll meet you back after those. Okay, so I did my pink block here, and then I turned the work and slip stitched back across, and did this block, first block of this row. And now we need to do 2 red blocks, our last 2 red blocks actually, and because I'm on the wrong side, I'm okay to bring my tail up here. So I'm going to bring this yarn up here, not tail. So bring your red yarn up through that pink yarn, pull that pink yarn tight, and remember what we said, these yarns just get kind of hidden, you can't really see them. You can, but you can't see them really clearly, so that's all good. So you're going to do 2 red blocks, and I'll meet you back for the pink block. Okay, so I've done my 2 red blocks. Now they were my last 2 red blocks, so I'm going to cut a length of that red off there. That's your last red that you're using, and then what I'm going to do is just going to work that under here just for a few stitches. It will still need sewing in and securing, but I'm just going to bring that round to the back, and I'm just going to work over it for a few stitches just to help secure it a bit more. Okay, so we're going to do 1 block of pink, and then the rest is going to be quite simple, because as you can probably gather, if that's the end of the red, then the rest of our work be pink. So no more colour changes. Just going to work back and slip stitch into these double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you're watching this through before you start working on it, then I suggest that when you do watch it through to actually follow along with it, that you slow it down by pressing up there or down there, depending on what device you're using. Okay, so now for the next 3 rows, you're going to do all pink. So you're going to do 3 on this row, and then you're going to turn it and do your slip stitches. 2 on the next row, turn it, do your slip stitches, and 1 in the final corner. So it's pretty much like down here. You're going to do 3, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so you will encounter this pink down here, but just leave that one and just work with this pink here. You don't need that one anymore. Okay, so work your way back, up, back, and into the corner. And I will see you for our last block. And here we go, guys. I finished off my last 3 rows of pink, and I've given it a bit of a stretch out because it goes a bit wonky being done on the diagonal, and I have sewn in all my ends. So that's your corner to corner heart. If you enjoyed the video, found it useful, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Leave us any comments or questions below, and there's a link in the description box to our Facebook group. We'd love to see you over there. So until next time, just keep hooking and don't let your tea get cold.